Putting Reading First in Maine, Segment 13, Vocabulary Research and Assessment.
I have some words up here from a book that I think all of you are going to know. And I use these words to write a story. But let's read the words first.
Hut, magic, prince, bags, castle, town.
Vocabulary is one of the 5 essential elements of effective reading instruction. Vocabulary refers to the words we must know in order to communicate effectively with others.
Don't panic. If you didn't panic, well, how would you be acting?
Brave.
You'd be acting brave.
Scientific research and a variety of assessment tools provide teachers with a foundation for vocabulary instruction. Vocabulary development is important for several reasons. Beginning readers rely heavily on their speaking and listening vocabularies to make sense of the words they see in print. The larger a reader's personal vocabulary, the easier it is to make sense of text. Vocabulary development is a critical component of comprehension. Readers need to know what most of the words mean before they can successfully understand what they are reading. Vocabulary has a long-term impact on the ability to communicate, learn, understand, and apply information.
Okay, so now use these keywords and phrases to help you retell the story.
There are 4 types of vocabulary: listening vocabulary, speaking vocabulary, reading vocabulary, and writing vocabulary. The 4 types of vocabulary can be divided into 2 main categories: receptive vocabulary, or the words that are recognized and understood when listening or reading, and expressive vocabulary, or the words that are used to communicate ideas when speaking or writing. All 4 types of vocabulary continue to grow throughout our lifetime. Young children's listening and speaking vocabularies are much larger than their reading and writing vocabularies because young children encounter words predominantly through listening to others and communicating orally. As school-aged children begin to read and write, these vocabularies begin to increase. Reading vocabulary is the largest in size for adults, while speaking vocabulary is the smallest because adults read and understand more words than they use when they speak. The scientific research on vocabulary instruction shows that, although most vocabulary is learned indirectly, vocabulary should be taught directly as well.
Jack jumped behind a magnolia tree. His heart was beating so fast he could hardly think.
Children learn the meanings of most words indirectly by hearing and seeing words used in many different contexts. They learn vocabulary indirectly by engaging daily in conversations, listening to adults read to them, and reading extensively on their own. In the classroom, teachers can provide all of these experiences and can also directly teach specific words and word learning strategies.
I saw Jason looking at it earlier. I noticed he was looking at this earlier. There's another place in this book that's going to help us with word meanings.
Teaching specific words before reading a text helps students to develop in-depth knowledge of important words and improves reading comprehension.
H-E-R-D. Is this the verb to hear, Darby?
No.
It is important to provide instruction that promotes active engagement with vocabulary, repeated exposure to vocabulary in many contexts over time, and word awareness by calling attention to and playing with words. Teaching strategies for learning words helps students figure out unknown words when they are reading. These strategies include using dictionaries and other reference aids to learn and deepen knowledge of word meanings, identifying and using context clues, and using word part clues like prefixes and root words.
Tell me what this word is.
Assessment is key to effective vocabulary instruction. As has been discussed in previous segments, schools must have a coordinated assessment plan. There are a few formal assessment measures for vocabulary, including the Peabody Picture Vocabulary Test and the Dibbles Word Use Fluency Test. An example of an individual assessment that measures receptive and expressive vocabulary is the Dibbles Word Use Fluency Test.
Listen to me use this word green. The grass is green. Here is another word. Jump. I like to jump rope. Your turn to use a word, rabbit.
A rabbit hops.
Very good.
This assessment is used to initially screen and later monitor the vocabulary development of students. The Dibbles word use fluency task is typically administered to students in kindergarten through 3rd grade. The purpose of word use fluency is to measure students' ability to correctly use words within sentences.
Downstairs.
I have a downstairs.
When given a word, students are asked to orally create a sentence using the word. In addition to the formal assessments, there are several ways to informally assess vocabulary development. These more informal assessments are also used by teachers to guide classroom instruction. They include vocabulary cloze activities.
So today what I would like you to do is, this is another kind of copy of the enormous turnip. And you have some words up here, and you're going to read each sentence, and you're going to choose one of these words to go in each of those sentences.
A vocabulary cloze activity can be completed orally or in writing and can be created by using any text. In cloze activities, students are given a sentence which is missing a word.
Great. And then I'm going to ask you to read the sentences out loud to me.
The old man planted a little turnip. The turnip grew very big in the ground.
Max, today we're going to do a vocabulary assessment. I'm going to have you read these paragraphs out loud, and in each paragraph you can see that there's a missing word, and you're going to pick the word from the word choices on this side, and you can just circle which one and read it out loud, which one you think goes in each blank, okay? Go ahead.
Many trucks move on the roads of America. They carry things people need. They carry things people want.
From a list of words, students select the word which makes sense to complete the sentence.
Animals breathe.
Knowledge rating chart. A vocabulary knowledge rating chart assesses students' level of understanding of the meanings of a select set of words. The words for a knowledge rating chart can be related to a text or a theme being used in the classroom.
We're going to be reading a story called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, written by Judy Barrett. And
in this example, the teacher first asks students to individually rate their knowledge on a set of words related to a read-aloud book.
You know what? Everybody knew what that word weather was, and I was not surprised by that at all. Were you?
The teacher then compiled the results from the students and created this chart to share with the class.
The next word we had on our list was the word gradual. Now, some of us knew the word. One person knew what the word meant and could use it in a sentence.
Sentence generation. When students are asked to generate sentences using an identified word, the teacher can assess students' understanding of the meaning of the word.
I was afraid when? Can you think of a time you were afraid? Cheyenne.
I was afraid when I got my finger smashed in the door and I still have a little mark from it.
I would be afraid too. Destiny.
I was afraid when...
Additional informal methods of vocabulary assessment include picture labeling, multiple choice tasks, observations, anecdotal records, checklists, interviews, informal reading inventories, and reading, spelling, and writing samples. Data from vocabulary assessments should be used frequently by teachers to plan for and deliver instruction to students. Timely and reliable assessments help teachers best support students' progress and monitor and guide instruction. Vocabulary development is a major goal for many children, and since it is critical to the development of reading comprehension, specific attention through assessment must occur to support young children as they become increasingly successful readers.